Interviewed. Agent. Henceforth referred to as Agent. As per the Wilkes-Booth-Oswald Protocol, all information on O5's prior identity has been removed. Interviewer. Assistant Director. Henceforth referred to as Interviewer. Forward. This interview took place on 2 days after the capture of SCP-953 on see SCP-953 Appendix 953-V. Prior incidents, casualties resulting from Agent was the only survivor of the incident, during which he accomplished the task of capturing SCP-953 alive. The following is a transcript of the after-action debriefing that took place following SCP-953's securement. Addendum. This transcript is digitized under the Foundation Modernization Directive. Confirmation of file integrity confirmed by tech operator after some formatting, terminology, and compatibility discrepancies with modern interview logs may exist due to the restructuring of, where possible, current equivalents have been appended. Begin log. Alright, let's begin. Please state your name, rank, and registry number for the record.
Agent 5th Squad, Eastern Division.
Following the restructuring of, this unit was redesignated Mobile Containment Task Force Theta-3, Scylla Daggers. Thanks. Can you tell me what you remember about the events on and around?
Alright, where do you want me to start?
How about the beginning? Where were you when you first got your orders? Thank you for clearing that up. Can you tell me what happened when you arrived on site?
Yeah, no problem. We got on site and went to the morgue, took a look at the bodies. I used the cover story of a reporter investigating the crimes. Told them Agent 1 and 2 were my photographer and assistant. Turns out they were thinking it was a wild animal, based on the nature of the wounds and the eyewitness accounts.
There was an eyewitness? Can you explain?
Yeah, a little old lady. Went out into the rice field to take a piss and saw it eating her cow. She was more mad than scared. Actually, kept complaining about where she was going to get another cow in this day and age, with the times being as tough as they were. She got a good look at it, though, and described it as a… Looking back, I think that's where the problem started.
Can you explain?
Remember how Agent 1 and 2 were both… but I was… Yeah. The thing is, both our cultures have stories of these kind of monsters in it, but it's different in… folklore. Their stories tend to romanticize. You get stories of monsters falling in love with humans and things a lot. Hell, they even joked about trying to score a wife out of this. Not in the stories my grandma told, though. That sadistic old bitch loved scaring me, and she… We saw this girl sitting under a waterfall, combing out her hair. Not naked. She had this thin robe on. Beautiful girl, too, but we knew it had to be her because of her feet. She was trying to hide them, but she wasn't doing it right. Agent 1 and Agent 2 smiled. Even I thought we had the edge on her. Oh god, we were stupid.
Please, explain.
She knew we were after her. She knew we knew what she was. She was… It's like a spider. She was pulling us into a web, pretending to let her guard down just enough so that we could feel smug in our overconfidence. I should've… I don't know. I should've tried something. I should've done something.
Do you need a moment?
No, I'll go on. She told us that she had a cottage nearby, offered to serve us dinner, introduce us to the others. Why, oh god, why did I agree? Agent 1 and 2 thought we should go with her, said there was a chance there might be others. She was lying. We knew there was no one else, but she knew that we'd never pass up the chance to capture multiple Upart. She took us to this cottage. Pretty little place, you know, old and rustic, but really homey. Took us inside, served us dinner. She was a perfect… what did Agent 1 call it? A… perfect wife. Demure, kind, sweet, respectful. Served us. I remember, it was rice and pickled turnips and some kind of meat. I thought it was pork or beef. It was delicious, though. Went to bed feeling pretty sleepy and tired. Woke up and saw that Agent 1 wasn't there. Figured he'd gone to take a piss or something, so I decided to go for one myself. Went behind a bush and saw… well… she was there with Agent 1 and they were…
Please, go on.
Do you mind if I say this part off the record? It's not very…
As you wish. Thank you. What did you see after that?
She bit it off.
Please elaborate.
She just bit it off. All of it. And then she spit it out and showed it to him, just so that he could see it happening. Agent 1 he couldn't believe it at first. Then he was trying to scream, but she torn his throat out with her teeth. And then she made her hand like this and stabbed it into his belly. Agent 1 was gurgling and trying to push her off. He was bleeding all over the place, but she just pushed him to the ground and started working her fingers in his belly, reached in deep and pulled something. It must have been his liver. It was the right shape and color, just pulled it out like she was gutting a fish and swallowed it whole.
Swallowed it whole?
Like a snake. She just… one gulp, like that. Then she started peeling his skin off, like an orange or something. I didn't stop to watch. I ran back to the room, shook Agent 2 awake, told him we needed to get going. Grab your gun. He didn't. I went for our weapons, grabbed my .45, and then Agent 1 walked in asking what was wrong, so I shot him.
You shot him?
I saw him die. He was dead. She killed him. It had to be her.
Are you sure? Perhaps you were mistaken.
She tore his guts out and ate them. He was dead, and his eyes were glowing yellow. What the hell kind of human being has glowing yellow eyes?
I see. Please proceed.
Agent 2 grabbed his gun, and then pointed it at me. Started yelling at me to put the gun down now. I was yelling at him to look at her, but he was screaming that he was going to shoot me in the head because I was a dirty… He always knew I was one, and now I just proved it. And that's when the bitch grabbed him from behind and the gun went off.
This is when you were injured?
Yeah, he shot me in the arm, fleshy part, upper shoulder. I fell down screaming and, God, it hurt so bad. Loud cackling laugh. Oh God. If I thought my grandma's was scary, this bitch, she was… If the devil were a… lady, that's what he'd sound like. Ran for it. Crawled into the living room where he'd had dinner earlier that night, and tried to slam the door shut. Rice paper screen. Not gonna help, but I needed something between us. Killed him and laid him out where the dining table had been. His eyes were wide open, and his skin were flayed open. Like a butcher's… oh God. There were the bowls, the ones we had been eating out of, but the meat, it wasn't beef or pork. It was him, and the rice. Maggots crawling in his flesh. He'd had to have been dead for days, but how? We'd seen him at the base of the mountain just yesterday. I threw up. Some of them were still alive, crawling in my vomit, and I just…
Do you need a break?
No, I could do this. I was deep in the fairy tale. I just needed to complete it. I didn't have any… Wasn't much of a punji stick, but it got her, straight through the gut, slowed her down a bit. Dragging myself across the river, couldn't swim, hit my head on the rocks, went downstream at least half a mile through the rapids. She didn't even try to follow me downriver. Must have gone around because later… Had to be fire. The third was always fire. I got to the van about the time the sun came up, broke a window and went to the back. There was a flamethrower, defoliant projector, there for sterilization if needed, so I grabbed it, flicked on the sparker, managed to get it around just as she came out of the tree line.
That was when the retrieval team found you with the Oopart?
Yeah. They took her away and got me to a hospital. I had a raging infection for days. Not surprising, I guess.
One last thing. You've been on the record as opposing the Oopart's termination. Given your personal experiences, I'm not really sure why you'd want something as dangerous as this to live. Can you please elaborate? I'm not sure I understand. Are you saying that you sympathize with her?
Sympathize? I don't know. No. I can't say that I do. She'd kill me just as soon as look at me, just out of spite. Because she is spiteful, she'd kill me just to watch me die. But what she's trying to do, if she does it, then she…
You're also on record as opposing her terms of confinement.
Because it's dangerous. Like I said, she's spiteful. Every little slight in her eyes she saves up, and the only way she knows how to repay an insult is death. Chaining her to the wall like an animal, when she gets out, and she will get out, she's going to kill everyone who had the slightest thing to do with it. She won't settle for anything else.
You have also paid her several visits in her holding cell.
Yes, I have.
What did you talk about? Agent, you had a harrowing, traumatic experience based around this individual. In order to survive, you had to, in your own words, get into her head, realize how she ticks. One might even say that there was some times you spent as her captive during the hunt in the woods.
I don't know what you're getting at.
Have you ever heard of Stockholm Syndrome?
Yes.
Is it possible that…
No.
No?
No. Just no.
Thank you very much for your time, Agent. End log. Closing statement. Agent is to be transferred to Site-51 for psychological analysis and debriefing. The UPART in question is to be remanded to secure containment protocols, as indicated in Document 953-LF. On a side note, I'm appalled by the level of superstition expressed by Agent throughout the course of this interview. I'm recommending that his suggestions regarding containment be disregarded for a more scientific approach. We're not old Korean fishwives here. I'm sure we can think of something more effective than dogs and needles. Assistant Director. Addendum. As of SCP-953 has made 3 escaped attempts, each time resulting in the deaths most closely involved in her confinement. Agent was approved to return to active duty on and continues to serve for the restructured Mobile Task Force Theta-3.